Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Ambassadors podcast. My name is Julia Balaz, and today I'm delighted to introduce to you Angie Alexander, coming to us from Southern Australia, from Southern Tasmania. Welcome, Angie. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Julia. Thank you.
So it's a very early morning for you. It's a nice warm evening here in Ireland, and today we're recording this on the 8th of September 2023. So we actually had a couple of weeks of break from the podcast publishing, so we're back here now. It's really nice to be back connecting with the community and learning more about our recently certified practitioner, Angie. So, Angie, I've looked at your website called Amatrine Holistic Medicine and Healing.com.au. We'll put the link in the description and also on the page. And you have quite a wealth of healing modalities that you've studied diligently. You even have a Bachelor of Herbal Therapies back in 2006, so way before 2012, where many of us were awakening. You were already paving the way, probably the first wave volunteer, according to Dolores Cannon's concept of the volunteer souls that come here to uplift the frequency and support the evolution of consciousness. So thank you so much for starting early and for paving the way. Can you tell us a little bit about your beginnings? How did you come about studying the holistic therapies and everything that comes with it? Can you tell us about your story?
Well, I went to uni and started studying economics, believe it or not, and decided that wasn't for me in the first semester, and moved over to psychology. I studied psychology, but I didn't want to label people, so that went into counselling. And then I did a Diploma of Remedial Massage, and that's when I started feeling energy coming through me, going into clients. Then I went on to do a Bachelor of Herbal Therapies. I've always been interested in medicine, bodies and health. And that degree was a science degree. It was really hard work, but it was so worth it in the end. So much knowledge, plant medicine, and how to apply it. And I think we need to know that in this day and age, that we can use plants as medicine. And then I went on to do Reiki, and then I discovered your course. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And I think I'm sort of finished studying now, but who knows?
Well, with each of these podcasts, when we hear the stories, I think it's so helpful for our viewers to hear a little bit about the astrology of the people that we introduce through the Galactic Ambassadors podcast. And, when I'm listening to what you're saying and also reviewing your natal chart, I think it's so fitting that you're studying psychology when your South Node is in the 8th house. So South Lunar Node shows us the path of our past, where we come from, what is our interest as a soul in previous incarnation. And 8th house is all about deep psychology, the psyche, everything that's hidden, the curiosity about what motivates other people, why are they the way they are in their life. Mm-hmm. And you also have your Jupiter in Pisces in the 9th house. 9th house is the house of higher education, higher learning, continuous study. So having Jupiter there, the planet in Pisces, is like you are deeply excited about studying consciousness. Pisces consciousness excites you and expands you. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it is exciting.
There's one more thing I want to point here. You also have Saturn conjunct the South Node in Aquarius in the 8th house. And what I believe Saturn, aligned to South Node can do is that we have this really strong need to prove ourselves to the society and reach titles, or somehow, prove that we are good enough to be who we came here to be. So, some holistic practitioners and, light workers, as we like to call people who like to be in service to support others' healing, they just really dive deep. They follow their intuition and they start working with others, kind of developing their own thing, and they don't really care too much about the certifications and titles and things like that. They just somehow, let the universe work with them, support them. Clients come, they work with the word of mouth. They don't even set up their website. They're just like these free spirits who ride the wave of higher intuition guidance and supporting others. But then there is a really big portion of light workers who don't find that easy. They really have a lot of wounding, I believe, from previous incarnations when they were prosecuted for their wisdom caring, for understanding the plant medicine, for connecting with spirit, delivering the messages to others, them experiencing the opposition of perhaps the religion or whatever the societal structures were there in the past. It's actually something that I see sprinkled throughout your chart as well, with some of the galactic alignments that you may have had past life experiences where that could have been the case. So seeing you kind of naturally, unconsciously, most likely choosing the path of doing the higher education, getting the certifications, not only the Bachelor of Herbal Therapies, but also Bachelor of Arts, major in psychology. It kind of is like, all right, maybe I need all this, and then I'll give myself permission to really work with the intuition and higher guidance. Does all that resonate with you at all?
Absolutely, Julia. I've been sort of trying to make sure that I'm presenting with the right qualifications, but I'm allowing myself now to use my intuition more, because that's a very effective tool when you're working with people and you're trying to help them either get on the right path or resolve issues within their lives. And funnily enough, I've had a number of readings that have indicated that I was a healer in past lives, and probably like a white witch or a herbalist that was persecuted for what I did.
That's incredible. So when I looked at the galactic alignments, the fixed stars and greater cosmos, where I was getting clues to this kind of story, how it just kind of came out there. First of all, it was your Ascendant is conjunct Sirius A, very tightly, but in 1.2 degrees. You have your midheaven is conjuncting, midheaven in Pisces is conjunct Achernar or Achernar, I don't know how to pronounce it, Alpha Eridani star, so the brightest star in Eridanus constellation, the mouth of the snake. And your Mercury in Leo in third house is conjunct at 0.02 Hydra, so the brightest star in Hydra constellation. Neptune Scorpio fifth house is conjunct a Crux in Crux constellation. There was something else. Your Chiron is in Pisces in ninth house. So there's like multiple placements that all together just told me the story that I shared with you earlier. The Eridanus constellation, the Hydra constellation, the Crux, Acrux, the Cross, Southern Cross, the Sirius placement there. It all speaks about a soul who was carrying the wisdom of cosmos in their lifetimes and perhaps experienced persecution, because Chiron in Pisces in ninth house, like being prosecuted by religious organization, most likely, is something that I would have seen there. So it's a nice validation for me to hear that you have received psychic readings that would have mentioned something like that. So it's all written in the stars, like it's all in the natal chart. I always find it fascinating.
In this life, back as a herbalist.
Yes. And even received a certification from the Constitution, from educational body, from a place that is agreed upon by the structure of our society. So really well done for not giving up on light, the wisdom of the cosmos, for not giving up on love and compassion that you share in your service to others. It's wonderful that we are back here in this lifetime and ready to rock and roll. I'm so glad that you were guided towards galactic astrology. And I'm curious, when you first saw your chart, how did you actually come across it? Was it that you saw the chart, or did you get a reading from someone?
I heard about your course when I listened to Pam Gregory, I'm a regular listener of her program, and I thought, this is really resonating with me. I need to have a look at this. And previously, I wasn't really that interested in thinking about life on other planets. That was kind of a long way from where I was, but I looked into it and had a look at the chart, and I really couldn't work out what was happening. But then I decided to sign up and started studying, and absolutely fascinating.
You know what, I want to point out what you said there, that, thinking galactically wasn't really in your perspective until you were introduced to this. Interestingly, your sun and moon doesn't have conjunct or oppositions to the selected stars from our calculator. You have trines and one sextile there. And usually when I see that, it's a soul that's been on Earth for a long, long time. Like, you would have many incarnations and you would really feel like Earth soul. But there is a history, of star beings that were influencing the developments of human growth on Earth. So galactic, but well rooted and grounded on Earth. Would you say that's your case?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really expanded my knowledge of why I'm actually here participating with humanity at this time. Really expanded that.
Beautiful. I'm so glad. That's such a nice side effect of galactic astrology that I see over and over, that when people see their alignments, their auric field grows, their light shines brighter, they're able to serve with greater strength. It's such a beautiful thing to see when we give ourselves permission to kind of reclaim the greater totality of our being rather than playing small. Mm-hmm. There was one story that you shared with me before we recorded about your connection and a friendship that you found or rediscovered in our community of certified practitioners. Not so long ago, we interviewed Michael Richardson, also from Australia. And so you saw Michael on my podcast, and you remembered that actually I've met this gentleman and he was really pivotal in my healing journey. In your experience, Angie, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because there is a deeper story here.
About 23 years ago, I met Michael and we started to talk about different things. And at the time, my mum was very sick, and we talked about that. He helped me through the process of my mum passing. He supported me, and that was a very special time of my life, because that's when my spiritual awakening started to happen. I was in year 9 of my life cycle. My mum passed away at the end of my year 9, and things started to really take off after she passed in terms of my spiritual growth. Yes, Michael was there to anchor me. I feel that he anchored me during that process, and I was always eternally grateful for that. We lost touch. I enrolled in the course, and then I saw him on your Facebook page and on the interview, and we reconnected. It's pretty amazing after all these years, but we've both grown so much since then. Yeah, it's just fantastic to be able to reconnect with someone after that long, who was an integral part of my spiritual awakening.
What's so wonderful also is that you're planning to do workshops together, or some kind of incorporating each other's strengths and everything you do to serve others, to help them heal. You're coming together. He's driving down to Tasmania. And tell us a little bit about the event, or kind of what is the idea of your working together.
So we've created Love is the Way, which is going to be a magazine style program that we will present meditations. We'll have discussions about all things spiritual, organised for interviews with different people to talk about their spiritual journey. And we're going to interview each other. That'll be a lot of fun. But it's about connecting healers with people, as well as people watching and getting information and getting on the path to awakening. That's what we're aiming to do. And it is all about love, spreading the word that love is the way, love is the answer. and we're having so much fun doing it. We've got a YouTube channel, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram as well.
That is beautiful. You have your ascendant is conjunct Sirius, Sirius star, which means your descendant is opposing, conjunct Vega star. And if I remember correctly, Michael had strong connection to Vega Sirius collective as well, and lifetimes of being a healer too. There's such a world of wisdom and love. There's also strong, I believe, Arcturian frequency with him, the love and compassion and grace. So have you looked at your synastry, like your astrology, his astrology, your astrology, how you kind of complement each other? Do you want to comment on that?
Not so closely, but we definitely work together really well, bounce ideas off of each other. And the creativity is amazing. We've got so many ideas and things that we want to try and do with this. Yeah, it's just incredible.
That's really good. Why I'm mentioning the ascendant, descendant is that for any of our viewers, when you go to our calculator, galacticastrochart.com, put in your birth details. And if you have alignments to your AC ascendant, that's the place where, what's on the east of the horizon, what's rising, what star is there at the time of your birth. And usually if you have opposition on the ascendant, it's a star that is setting on the west of the horizon when you're born. So what I'm noticing with descendant, the west of the horizon, is that the stars that are sitting there are usually coming through the people that come into our life who are really pivotal in our growth, in our expansion. For you, Angie, you would have star seeds from Vega who have a strong connection, strong frequency of Vega Lyra, the Lyran connection. When you come in contact with them through other people, they activate you, they elevate you to the next level. It's so fascinating to look at the astrology of relationships. It can reveal so much. There is, if our viewers go to astro-seek.com, astro-seek.com, they have 3 charts available, including synastry chart, which is for relationships. You put in your details, you put in other person's details, and then you see them match together. And depending what's where, which planet is in which house, you can actually receive so much about the history of the relationship in terms of karmic connection from previous incarnations. It's all there. And someone who understands astrology, like our practitioners, they can help you with deciphering that and just receiving a validation to what you kind of know in your heart and soul already. But with greater clarity, it can point out the themes in terms of what's working, what isn't working. So it can be really, really helpful if you have a relationship that you care about. Looking at synastry can be life-changing. All right, Angie.
I'm actually using the synastry when I'm talking to clients that are having relationship issues, and it's really good because you can explain how one person ticks and how the other person ticks and why the relationship might not be working as well as it could. And when there's an understanding of that on both sides, both partners, it can actually solve and resolve issues. It's incredible. I love using astrology for that purpose.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm now understanding why I was bringing it in as a theme. So that's brilliant. Can you tell us a little bit about your Galactic Astrology soul reading sessions focus? So what type of sessions do you offer? Written reports, Zoom sessions, video sessions? Tell us more.
Obviously get my details from the client, and I spend a number of hours because I get carried away, and I sort of look through things and find different areas that I feel intuitively would be a good place to focus. Put that together on a written report. I do a Zoom call with the client and discuss what's on that. And then we have a look. I usually ask the client if they have a question and try to focus on what's happening in the astrology to answer that question. My Zoom calls can go on for a couple of hours depending on what we discuss. I also offer the opportunity afterwards to go away, have a think about it, and if they've got more questions, they can come back.
Invaluable. Thank you so much for dedicating so much of your time, energy, effort to serve in such a comprehensive way. I love it. You also do you still do Reiki? Do you still do the herbal medicine? What about the other modalities? What else is in the package with you? You know, once people fall in love with your energy, with your frequency, and if they want to make the most out of the relationship when working with you, what else do you offer?
So I'm very holistic. When I'm first meeting a client, obviously I'm asking them what they're wanting from the consult with me, but we can look into all sorts of things. So energy work is one of my favourite things. I'm a Reiki teacher, but I also use sound in the form of chimes, solfeggio frequencies when I'm working with people for balancing chakras. I'm also getting information when I'm working with people intuitively about what's happening for them. Sometimes we have psychic messages coming through, messages about what's happening for the person's health, treating all of that. Herbal medicine is amazing. So, you know, if someone's finding that their orthodox medicine isn't working for them, we can put something into place that's herbal that might be more effective. Yeah, I love teaching Reiki. It's one of my favourite things, just to see the light globe coming on for someone who hasn't felt energy coming from themselves or other people. Coverata in Tasmania. It's a really peaceful environment and just a wonderful thing to do.
I love the holistic approach. Can you tell me about the name ametrine?
It's actually a crystal. It's a crystal that's a combination of amethyst and citrine.
Oh, I love that. So the purple frequency, the yellow frequency.
Beautiful thing to look at because you can see the citrine with the ametrine sort of mix into it.
I love both. I love amethyst, I love citrine, and I never knew that there is one that combines the two. That's, I'm going to get one. Thank you.
I'll have to send one to you.
So the website is ametrine holistic medicine and healing.com.au for Australia.
That's correct, yes.
And you mentioned you have a YouTube channel. Is that the cooperation with Michael? So the Love is the Way. What is the name of the?
It's Love is the Way on YouTube, Facebook, and on Instagram. It's Love is the Way 11811. So come and find us. We have our first workshop on the 7th of October here in Tassie. We're doing an introduction to astrology.
Oh, I hope our students of the course will find you. We have quite a few, a growing number of quantum soul guidance course students based in Australia. So it'll be wonderful. It's actually really nice to see community finding each other and coming together, people visiting each other, traveling large distances to see each other, and then just sharing photos inside our private Facebook community. So it just warms my heart how this all grew from mini me just sharing something I was excited about, and 2-3 years later there's an amazing body of beautiful, beautiful souls. Eternally grateful for this journey. So happy to share it with you.
Thank you for creating the course, Julia, and for everything you do. It feels like an anchor point for so many healers and starseeds, and it's a wonderful thing. I highly recommend the course. It's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that recognition. And I have to say, I feel like it's you and everyone else in the course that pull all this out of me. Like, you bring the best out of me. Whenever I'm engaging with the community, I feel most like a rose that is blossoming. Whenever I'm not interacting with you guys, I'm just like a light little bud that is happily living my personal life and just enjoying just being. Hardly any thoughts, just gratitude. But when I'm with you guys, amazing conversations come through. So I'm really, really grateful for that aliveness when I'm connected to you. Hey, is there anything else that you would like to mention? Maybe any stories from your sessions, anything that was kind of extraordinary or special moment, or what really makes you feel most excited about this path of Galactic Astrology, soul reading practitioner?
I recently helped a couple that were having relationship issues. It was looking not the best case scenario with what was happening for them. But when they actually understood where each other were coming from, they are now working together to improve things, and it's going really, really well. So stories like that, being able to help people with their relationships, it's just incredible that we can use astrology and galactic astrology to get people back on a path good for them.
Absolutely. May I ask you to drill a little more into that story? Was that the case of there being an energy from the past that was kind of in the unconscious? It was coming out clearly in their current life experience. They couldn't quite put finger on it, but then when you kind of tapped into where it was coming from, the origin maybe from previous incarnation or even galactic lives, that somehow with that clarity things resolved. Was that the case, or something else completely?
It was really more about a gap in their understanding of each other. It was more to do with, I guess, personality.
Okay, I see. So astrology sometimes can show us if someone is more air-based or fire-based, they communicate differently and they see reality differently. So you being able to point it out to them, what's their love language, how they communicate and how they see life and each other, and it can bring much, much more improved communication and just sense of connection and understanding. Oh, amazing.
Relationships are so much about communication, and when communication isn't good, that's when relationships start breaking down. If there's a better understanding of how each other communicates, then that can resolve a lot of the issues.
Back to crystals, I just want to bring that in. I noticed on your website also that you work with crystals. Clearly the name of your business also brings them in. Is there anything in particular in terms of how you work with crystals, or what's your favorite way of applying them to your practice?
So I use crystals in my healing work, not every, but particularly if we're having issues with activating chakras, so placing crystals on the body, but also carrying crystals for protection from negative energy. For instance, rose quartz or aventurine, carrying those crystals, meditating with them. Crystals are just beautiful. They're just beautiful tools for using for healing, for personal healing. But
would you have any message or tip in how to navigate the vast amount of information with the Galactic Astrology course and just kind of practicing? Did you have your point of overwhelmed at any point, and how did you navigate that? Or how did you kind of, find time and organize yourself to go through it, to do practice? Like, did you have your low point and high point? Can you mention about those? Because I always find them so helpful.
Yes, I started the course last year in July, and I was thinking when I first started it, maybe it's too complicated for me. I can't remember all the information. I was trying to learn at university style. So when Michael and I reconnected, I mentioned that to him. He's been quite a mentor for me. And he said, you just got to go with the flow, absorb. You can't remember everything that you're learning because there's just not enough room, within your memory to remember everything and just have it there. Just go through and do the course, absorb what you can, and it will start coming when you start practicing. And that's exactly what's happening.
Yay, that's brilliant. That's the way. Absolutely. Through practice is the best way to learn. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Michael, also for being such an important person in your life. It really warms my heart, and I look forward to staying connected to you guys through following your channels and just, cheering you on as you share your love, your light, and helping others and connecting others. Well, Angie, such a pleasure meeting you. Is there any other message, anything else important that you had on your mind that you wanted to mention, or do you feel complete?
We would really like to interview you at some point on our on our program, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. It will be my pleasure. Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Happy days. Well, isn't it so amazing to see so many people stepping up and coming forward and sharing their light, sharing their love in their own unique way, their own unique style. It doesn't matter that there are so many others doing it already. It's really not about that. It's just, I think, the sheer volume of humans that are showing up in a way of service and just, sharing and encouraging others to connect in a loving way, talking about things that they feel comfortable or even not so comfortable about, but you holding safe space for them. Like, I believe there must be thousands of these initiations all around the world. Like, we have to be experiencing that breaking point where love is leading the way on the planet. I'm such an eternal optimist, but like, that's all I see everywhere I look online. Maybe I did a really good job at cleaning up my timeline or on my social media, but all I see is amazing people stepping up and showing, leading by example. So I'm very hopeful about the future. How do you feel about where we are currently energetically, especially, this summer, so much integration, so much reflection. How was the summer for you and now into September?
So we've just gone through winter here, and I think that gives people time to reflect, to think about where they're coming from and where they're heading. The planetary alignments have given people periods of time to think about certain things and to just stop and be in the moment and then move on, and then maybe stop for a little while again. There's that process going on. I guess for me, it's about being grounded, meditation, particularly during winter months. And as summer comes, spring always brings hope. People will start to sort of wake up and want to do more things in terms of their spiritual growth. We are awakening. I see it like an infection. The more awakened people there are, the more that infection spreads through everybody else. But it's a nice infection, not a nasty one.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels so good getting to know you. Thank you, Angie. It was such a pleasure. And may this broadcast reach the right people that'll feel excited about connecting with you and then have an amazing experience. Best wishes, and thank you all. Much love.
Thank you, Julia. Much love to you too.